Friends, Dr. Murphy on December 26th, the evening before we returned to Denver after a wonderful family vacation at Puerto Escondido down in the southern shore of Mexico. It is a miracle, truly miraculous, that my family is back together, given what we went through over 3 years ago. It was crazy. The separation, the inevitable divorce after 40 years of marriage, when my wife and I trusted the medical system, the psychiatric system. How crazy was that? Now, I've learned that psychiatry is a bunch of BS. And I'm in a fight against the psychiatric industrial complex. And I'm also sharing with you that this is the day before my Uncle Don Murphy, Father Don Murphy, I was named after him, died 20 years ago. And 23 days before that, my dad, a great physician, died. And just a couple months before that, Uncle John died. Anyway, that was a rough time 20 years ago for us. But before my dad died, I mean, he insisted on getting off these BS psychiatric medications. He knew that Aricept would not help him with this mild dementia he had. He knew that the antidepressant he was on was useless. He knew that he was grieving the loss of his health. My dad was a great physician. My uncle, on the other hand, did suffer from true depression, catatonic depression. And I've always wondered what was in his heart and soul. He didn't share with me. My dad, his only brother, shared everything with me since I was 13 years old. He had a sense that I was going to become a physician, and we just talked about everything. I think my uncle was born gay. I think that was it. And he could never talk about it. A wonderful Jesuit priest, charismatic teacher, just an amazing man. But imagine that. Your whole life, you can't even talk about something you're born with. And I think that's what led him to the catatonic depression before he died 20 years ago tomorrow. My dad, on the other hand, was born as a cross-dresser. None of us knew about this except my mother. Until later in life. And boy, my mom and dad suffered from false allegations because of this fear of people who are born differently. But we overcame all that, or in other words, God healed all of us in that. I now believe that all this harm in the world is just subconscious projections of one's own inner stuff onto others. Dr. Freud taught us that. But, you know, we come up with this pseudoscience of psychiatry. We are over-medicated. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, as I run for governor, I'm also going to, because I was gaslit out of medicine, my profession, geriatrics hospice, by the Colorado government, and that was a big freaking mistake, dude. They did not know. Again, when people wonder, how can people do this to each other? I take them to Christ on the cross. Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they're doing. Okay? And so many books and stories and you name it support that belief system. Anyway, no, I will be fighting against this craziness called the psychiatric industrial complex. I call it psychobabble. I was fortunate to be raised by just brilliant teachers. My dad, a physician, my uncle, Jesuit priest, but they had their own issues. I know that my dad did not like himself early on in life. Later on, he did. I know that he projected his insecurities onto others, hurt others. I mean, that's just human nature. All right, got to go to bed early. Got an early flight. Good night.